Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Today I just wanted to make a small video just talking about something I really care about, and that is Game of Thrones. And we got Season 7 coming up this year. I'm super excited. I haven't seen anything for it. I'm not going to watch any of the trailers, any of the spoilers potentially that I could see from them, because I want to go into this fresh. I just want to see what it is. But the show's going to be ending soon. We only have 2 seasons left, a total of 13 episodes, and it's going to be hard because the show revolutionized TV, and Battle of the Bastards changed how we view cinema. And it was on TV because that was the most cinematic thing I've seen that entire year, and it was on TV, and it just blew my mind. So today I thought I would talk about some potential franchises, potential stories I could see taking the place of Game of Thrones, becoming the next big thing on television. Now, these things I chose, they're in the fantasy genre. There's some other elements to them, yes. And I just thought we could run them down. Maybe I could talk about them a little bit, and we'll see what it is. So first off, this one is kind of a given, and that is a spin-off to Game of Thrones. Yeah, I would like to see it if it's done right. I do not want to see something right after the events, like we see a certain character right after the events of the series happen. If we go into the past, Robert Trebellion, I've heard, would be a good one to see. Or I would like to see one completely in the future, maybe 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, or even thousands of years where we're in a new world. It's a more modern world. I think that'd be really cool to see. Something like that. I like the story. I like the world that, George R. R. Martin built. And I think if we stay in that world, there's a lot of more stories we could tell. But nothing in the timeline we already know. I don't want to see something directly after, like maybe what the people in Dorne are doing after Daenerys takes the throne. I don't want to see that. So Game of Thrones spinoff, really nice to see. Another one, this one I thought, well, we know about the character, and if we want a world build, we can make a lot of other characters. He can go to a lot of different places, and that's the Prince of Thieves, Robin Hood. We've seen a lot of forms of Robin Hood in film, and I think we need a good version of him on television, one that we can say that's the basic story of him. Something that would be nice to see. This one I was hesitant of putting on the list, but then I thought, we've seen Arrow's success, a guy with a bow and arrow, and we need to see something like this in the old times. It would be nice to see. It could be a comedy kind of version of it. We've seen those kind of versions with the Disney one, with the Mel Brooks one, or it could be a serious one. Either way, it'd be nice to see this character have some sort of show like this with a big budget, a big show where we can see his story flesh out over time. Maybe you can see him as a grown man, an older man, and focuses on his son. Maybe something like that would be nice. Now, this next one I chose, it's not my favorite franchise, and I've stated that before. I don't like the films, and I respect the stories. I think the stories, if they are well done, they could be really good. The only thing I liked about the films was Tilda Swinton, and if that didn't give it away, this will. I'm going with the Chronicles of Narnia. There's a lot of books in this story. This is something like Game of Thrones, exactly, except it's more fantasy. There's a lot more fantasy elements, and if you see this unfold on television, it would be really well done. You can really do a good story with this, and I'd really like to see that. There's a lot of good things in this series, and like I said, Tilda Swinton's portrayal in the first movie was my favorite part of it. It's the only thing I really liked. But there's a lot more you can do with it, and I haven't read the books, so I won't say that, but I appreciate what I saw in the film. I just didn't like it. I don't like the way it was told. But if that story is told right, if Liam Neeson wants to come back and voice the Lion, that'd be pretty cool. I mean, he did really good. I guess he was all right. He's not. I like Tilda Swinton more. Liam Neeson was really good, but the Chronicles of Narnia would be a nice story. We can see all the books unfold, all the characters develop fully, all the side characters, all these things develop on television, and we could get a full fleshed out story for it, and it would be a really nice upstep from Game of Thrones. And I don't know how we're going to upstep seeing the dragons, but we can see something like that unfold. So Chronicles of Narnia is there too. So another one, and this is kind of a little different because I haven't played these games. I've played a few of them. There's a bunch of different stories. So here's my idea for a Dungeons and Dragons TV series. 8-episode series. Each season is a different story, and it's an anthology. You can get new characters, you can have fan polls to see what you want the characters to be like, you can vote for them, and then they can cast an actor in each of those roles, so it's 8 episodes a season. You can go for a long time, a lot of seasons, get different characters, different story elements, telling a different game of Dungeons & Dragons. It would be really well done and get a lot of fans interactive in this. Maybe you could see a character you designed. If there's like a fan poll, they can have a character you created become part of the universe. It'd be so interesting to see just a storyline played out from one of the books of the game, and then the next season it's a different story, different characters. So this would be a fun series to watch. It'd be really interesting. There's a lot of different stories you could tell. You could go to a lot of different places, have a lot of different characters, and it would just be a really interesting thing to see. So this next one is one that's a little more science fiction, and that is the Old Republic in the Star Wars universe. I love this storyline. I haven't played the game fully. I've played some of it. I know a lot about the history of it, and there's a lot you can tell in this story. It'd be really interesting to see. It's probably the next big step up from Game of Thrones that you could go to on television. Seeing the science fiction and fantasy elements, it'd be really nice to see. I know there's been rumors, there's been talks that maybe we're going to get a Star Wars TV show. This should be that TV show. There should be millions of dollars put into this. We have a big production. We could see maybe the Jedi versus Mandalorian war. That would be kind of cool. There's so much we could tell, and you could tie it into all the other canon in Star Wars. I just really want to see something like this. We need to see Old Republic become canon. This is a good way to do that. Take a lot of the elements from the game, make it new, make it original, whatever you have to. Just that era is so unique and interesting in the Star Wars world that it feels old, but it also feels modern. It would be so interesting to see, and I would love to see the Old Republic become the next step up, because Game of Thrones is kind of like this Star Wars world. There's this big characters, it's a political intrigue. And we could see that in a Star Wars with the lightsabers, with the Mandalorians. It'd be really interesting to see. So another one that's kind of science fiction too, and I'm okay with that. And we haven't had a good version of this since the Filmation series in the 80s, and I will stand by that. You can like the movie if you want, you can like any other iteration if you want, but I think the Filmation series is the best interpretation of these characters. Maybe some of the modern comic books, I haven't read them all. I've read a few, some of the ones that DC put out a couple years back, and if you haven't figured that out, this is Masters of the Universe. There's a massive world here with intriguing characters, intriguing sorcery-style magic, so many interesting bad guys, good guys, unique character designs. It would look spectacular on television. Just incredible. I'm a very big Masters of the Universe fan. If you were to make a very mature television series, you can cast somebody perfect for He-Man, you can cast somebody perfect for Skeletor. You can really make this work, and we need to see something like this. It'd be Lord of the Rings on TV, and it would be so incredibly well done. I would love to see that done. So the last one I want to talk about today is the King Arthur storyline, the Camelot, the Excalibur when he gets the sword. That kind of storyline, we see him, we see Lancelot, Percival, Merlin, all these characters, the Knights of the Round Table, all these people coming into their own series. We can see all the side stories, all the different interpretations of the mythos of these knights and of this king. To see that come into an actual story instead of just having like a 2-hour movie that never gets a sequel and we don't see any more of these characters, to have a full fleshed out series of these people that we know the mythos of them. It'd be so incredible to see, and the best interpretation to this day is Monty Python. We need to see these characters, King Arthur, Merlin, Lancelot, Percival, Galahad, all these Galahad, all these characters just have their big story unfolded on television so we can see everything that has become of these characters. It would be so incredible, so unique, and so well done. It could be Game of Thrones done in a modern setting. And it would be an interesting setting. And I don't mean modern by the sense of like the 21st century. I mean in a realistic setting, a modern setting, a realistic, proper setting. It would be so incredible. And I think it'd be really well done. Anybody would want to play any of these roles because they're all interesting characters. So that's it for me. If you have any ideas of something you'd like to see done in the Game of Thrones style, this big setup of a world, let me know. We could talk about it. Who knows? But no, that's what I'd like to see. So thanks for watching and good luck. Stay tuned for more TV and movie reviews coming soon from this channel. Hope you enjoyed this video.